Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today, we'll uncover the incredible history behind this coin, explore why collectors treasure it so deeply, and reveal how one particular 1776 to 1976 half-dollar reached an unbelievable value that will leave you amazed until the very end. Let's dive deep into the world of the Kennedy bicentennial half-dollar, a coin that continues to capture the imagination of coin lovers around the globe. The story of this coin begins with America's bicentennial celebration. The year 1976 marked the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a monumental event in U.S. history. To honor this momentous occasion, the United States Mint decided to create special commemorative designs for three coins: the $quarter, the half-dollar, and the $1 coin. Each of these coins bore the dual date 1776 to 1976 to symbolize the 2 centuries of American freedom. For the Kennedy half-dollar, the Mint wanted something memorable, something that would embody both history and modern American pride. The design was given a bold update, featuring on the obverse the familiar portrait of President John F. Kennedy, first introduced in 1964, and on the reverse, a stunning depiction of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the place where America's founding fathers debated, signed, and gave birth to the Declaration of Independence. This beautiful reverse design was created by Seth G. Huntington, an artist whose work perfectly captured the spirit of America's founding era. Independence Hall, with its tall clock tower and colonial architecture, became an enduring image of liberty. Beneath it, the words, 200 Years of Freedom, and Independence Hall, serve as proud reminders of the purpose behind the coin's creation. Production of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar began in 1975 and continued through 1976. Interestingly, no half-dollars were minted with the date 1975, every half-dollar struck during those 2 years bore the dual date 1776 to 1976. The coin was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Each mint produced different varieties, including circulation strikes, proof versions, and special 40% silver collector editions. The Denver Mint, marked with a D, struck millions of coins intended for everyday use. However, among these millions, a handful of unique and rare examples have surfaced that can be worth a small fortune. Now, why do some of these bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars fetch thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars? The answer lies in condition, metal composition, and minting errors. The majority of the coins minted in Denver were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, the standard material used for circulation coins since the mid-1970s. These are the ones most people have handled in change or found in old coin jars. But for collectors, the true treasures are the high-grade specimens, coins that have survived nearly 5 decades without a single scratch, retaining their original mint luster, and grading at the highest levels of preservation, such as MS 67 or higher. Some of the most sought-after coins are those struck with special characteristics. For example, there are 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars that were struck on silver planchets intended for proof coins, but somehow ended up being used in regular circulation strikes. These rare minting mistakes are exceptionally valuable because they combine historical significance with rarity. In addition, proof and special mint set coins struck at the San Francisco Mint included 40% silver compositions, and these were made with mirror-like finishes. Some collectors cherish these proof coins not just for their silver content but also for their artistic beauty and flawless details. When preserved perfectly, their surfaces appear like glass, with Kennedy's portrait and Independence Hall gleaming under the light. The bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar has long held a special place in American numismatic history because it was one of the last circulating coins to feature a commemorative design that was actually used in everyday commerce. Unlike later commemorative coins, which were sold directly to collectors, these bicentennial halves were widely distributed, meaning millions of Americans were able to hold a small piece of the nation's 200th birthday celebration right in their hands. This widespread distribution made the coin deeply symbolic. For older generations, it represented pride and remembrance of America's founding principles. For younger ones, it became an introduction to the joy of coin collecting. And as the years have passed, the coin has become a nostalgic artifact, a reminder of an era when patriotism and celebration were minted into everyday currency. But as time moves forward, so does the market for rare coins. Collectors and investors are constantly searching for pristine examples of these bicentennial halves. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can achieve tremendous value when they reach the top end of the grading scale. High-grade 1776, 1976 D. Kennedy half dollars, those struck at the Denver Mint, are particularly popular among collectors. While most circulated examples may only be worth their face value, those graded in superb condition, showing sharp details and untouched surfaces, can bring impressive prices at auction, and beyond condition, error coins are the real game changers. Misstrikes, double dies, or coins with off-center designs have been known to capture attention and command huge sums. Imagine finding a coin that looks normal at first glance, but under close inspection, reveals an unusual minting anomaly, a doubling of letters, a shifted design, or a silver planchet instead of copper nickel. These rare finds turn ordinary collectors into lucky discoverers of hidden treasure. The bicentennial Kennedy half dollar also carries a deep emotional connection for many Americans. It honors both the legacy of President John F. Kennedy and the founding fathers of the United States. Kennedy's image on the obverse represents modern American ideals, leadership, courage, and progress, while Independence Hall on the reverse symbolizes freedom, unity, and history. Together, they form one of the most meaningful coin designs in U.S. history. As decades have passed since 1976, the bicentennial half dollar has gained increasing recognition as a collectible. It's no longer just a coin that commemorated an event, it's become a living reminder of how the nation celebrated its 200th birthday. Many collectors today treasure these coins for their sentimental and historical value, while others view them as a solid investment in precious metals and rarity. Even though millions were minted, the truly exceptional pieces, those in perfect uncirculated or proof condition, especially those with rare varieties or errors, remain extremely limited. The combination of rarity, beauty, and patriotic symbolism has made this coin a cornerstone in many collections. The fascination doesn't end there. Over the years, coin enthusiasts have shared stories of finding bicentennial Kennedy half dollars tucked away in old drawers, inherited from family collections, or even discovered in loose change. Each find reignites interest and curiosity about what these coins might be worth today, and that brings us to the most exciting part of our story, the remarkable value of certain 1776, 1976 D. Kennedy half dollars. While most examples may hold modest value, a few coins with exceptional features, pristine grades, or rare minting errors have astonished collectors and investors alike. One particular specimen, a Denver minted 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar graded in superb condition and displaying remarkable detail and luster, has reached an incredible market value that stands as a testament to its rarity and desirability. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that once circulated for just 50 cents but is now valued at tens of thousands of dollars. Such a coin doesn't just represent money, it represents history, craftsmanship, and the enduring fascination of American numismatics. It stands as proof that even modern coins, when struck under extraordinary circumstances or preserved with utmost care, can become treasures worth fortunes. Collectors today continue to search for these special bicentennial Kennedy halves, examining their details, mint marks, and finishes, always hoping to find that one extraordinary coin. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a beginner just starting to explore the world of coins, the 1776 to 1976 half dollar is a perfect starting point, a coin that combines history, art, and the thrill of discovery all in one. When you look closely at this coin, you can almost feel the echoes of American history, the signing of the Declaration of Independence in Independence Hall, the dreams of the Founding Fathers, the tragic yet inspiring legacy of President Kennedy, and the patriotic joy of a nation celebrating 2 centuries of freedom. All of that is encapsulated in one half dollar, a coin that has truly stood the test of time. We are diving deep into the incredible story, history, and value of the 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar, one of the most fascinating coins minted by the United States Mint, and how some rare examples of this coin have become truly valuable treasures worth thousands of dollars. Let's take a journey back in time to 1972, a year when the United States was going through major social and economic changes. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, the space race was still a source of national pride, and America was celebrating the ideals of progress and unity. During this same period, the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce the Kennedy half-dollar, a coin first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy following his assassination. By 1972, this half-dollar had already become one of the most beloved modern coins in U.S. history, not just for its design but for the deep emotional connection it carried for the American people. The 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar was struck at the Denver Mint, marked with the bold letter D just below Kennedy's neck on the coin's obverse side. These coins were composed of a copper-nickel-clad layer bonded to a pure copper core, replacing the earlier silver content that ended in 1970 for regular circulation half-dollars. Because of this shift, the 1972 D half-dollar marked a new era for the series, an era that saw millions of coins minted but only a small number standing out due to unique minting characteristics, varieties, or preserved conditions. The obverse of the coin, designed by Gilroy Roberts, features the famous left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy. His expression is noble, confident, and hopeful, a lasting reminder of his legacy. The word liberty arcs across the top of the coin, with the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, 1972, below. The small D mint mark just to the right of Kennedy's neck identifies it as being struck in Denver. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the presidential seal, an eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength, surrounded by 50 stars representing the states. Even though millions were made, the 1972 D half-dollar holds a special place because of certain varieties, die errors, and high-grade examples that have become very valuable over time. Most coins were used heavily in circulation, losing their mint luster, and sustaining scratches, dings, and wear. But a select few, those that were either carefully preserved or struck under special conditions, remain in pristine condition today, catching the eyes of collectors and commanding incredible prices at auctions. Now, what makes some 1972 D half-dollars valuable isn't just the age or the story behind them, it's also about quality and rarity. For example, coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC at the highest levels, such as Mint State 66, 67, or 68, are exceedingly rare. These coins show brilliant luster, flawless surfaces, and sharp details, almost as if they were struck yesterday. In the world of coin collecting, even a small difference in grade can mean a massive difference in value. Collectors are also on the lookout for any striking errors or unique die varieties. The 1972 D half-dollar has been known to appear with various die rotations, double die obverse features, and planchet anomalies that can make certain examples worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These minting imperfections were often the result of misalignments or wear on the dies during production, mistakes that, while unintended, became the very reason these coins are sought after today. To truly appreciate the 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar, one must also understand the passion that drives coin collectors. It's not just about the metal, it's about the story each coin tells. Imagine holding a 1972 D half-dollar that has survived over 5 decades in perfect uncirculated condition. It may have been tucked away in a mint set, hidden in a drawer, or preserved by someone who recognized its potential. Today, that same coin can be a symbol of history, patriotism, and luck for those who find it. Throughout history, the Kennedy half-dollar has been more than just a piece of currency, it's been a piece of American identity. It represents leadership, vision, and national pride. Even though the silver content was gone by 1972, the charm of the design and the emotion it evokes continued to make it a favorite among collectors. The 1972 D issue stands as a perfect example of how even a modern clad coin can become a treasured artifact, depending on its condition and rarity. In the coin market today, regular circulated examples of the 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar are still quite common and may only be worth their face value. However, if you have a coin in exceptional mint state condition, or one that displays a rare error, the value can skyrocket. Coins graded at mint state 65 and above start becoming notably valuable, and those in top-tier condition can bring serious money from passionate collectors or at major coin auctions. Over the years, auction records have shown that the highest quality examples of this coin, those with extraordinary luster, perfect strike details, and eye-catching surfaces, can command prices that surprise even seasoned numismatists. Some have sold for thousands of dollars, depending on their grading and demand at the time of sale. what makes this story even more exciting is that coins like the 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar still circulate among everyday people. That means you could, in theory, find one in your change, an old coin jar, or a family collection without realizing its potential worth. It's that element of mystery and possibility that keeps collectors searching and enthusiasts fascinated. Every coin tells its own story, and sometimes that story turns into a valuable discovery. So, if you come across a 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar, take a closer look. Check for that crisp detail in Kennedy's hair, the shine on the surface, the sharpness of the lettering, and the clarity of the eagle on the reverse. If the coin looks nearly flawless or uncirculated, it might be worth sending it to a professional grading service to get its official certification. Who knows? You might be holding a hidden gem that could fetch an impressive price in the collector's market. The Kennedy half-dollar series continues to be one of the most collected coins in the United States. It carries a legacy of innovation, remembrance, and artistic beauty. The 1972 D Mint Mark issue is no exception. It's a bridge between the early silver years and the later copper-nickel designs that defined the modern era of American coinage. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of coins, the story of the 1972 D half-dollar serves as an inspiring reminder that value can often hide in plain sight. Imagine a coin that was once worth just 50 cents but now captures the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. It's not only a piece of currency, it's a piece of living history. The Denver Mint's 1972 half-dollar embodies everything that makes coin collecting so exciting: the blend of craftsmanship, nostalgia, and the never-ending thrill of discovery. For some, it's just an old coin. But for others, it's a gateway to a deeper appreciation for America's past, a link between generations, and a reminder of how small things can hold immense meaning. The artistry of Roberts and Gasparo, the quality of the strike, and the legacy of President Kennedy all come together in this small but significant coin. Even after 50 years, collectors continue to seek out the best preserved examples, searching for that rare gem that stands above the rest. And while most 1972 D half-dollars may never be worth more than $1 or $2, the few that have survived in flawless condition prove that miracles do exist in the world of numismatics. We're going deep into the world of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, exploring its origin, composition, varieties, errors, and how a single coin from this year could be worth a life-changing amount of money. So, sit back and stay tuned, because you may have one of these incredible treasures sitting in your coin jar right now. The 1974 half-dollar is more than just a piece of metal, it's a slice of American history. It carries the image of President John F. Kennedy, one of the most iconic figures of the 20th century, whose tragic assassination in 1963 shocked the world. Just months after his death, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with a new design, the Kennedy half-dollar. First released in 1964, the coin was struck in 90% silver, but as time went on, the composition changed due to rising silver prices. By 1971, the U.S. Mint stopped producing silver circulation half-dollars, and the 1974 issue continued the use of copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of an inner core of pure copper and outer layers of nickel. Now, what makes the 1974 half-dollar particularly interesting is that it was struck during a transitional time in American coinage. The coin was minted at 3 main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark tells its own story, and the mint mark can dramatically affect the coin's rarity and value. Coins without a mint mark were made at the Philadelphia Mint, those with a small d were struck in Denver, and those with an s were produced in San Francisco, mainly for proof sets. Let's start with the Philadelphia Mint. The 1974 half-dollar from Philadelphia had no mint mark and was produced in large quantities. Over 201 million coins were struck there. These coins circulated heavily across the country, and because of that, most surviving examples show significant wear and tear. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is difficult, but not impossible. In higher mint state grades, these coins can still hold value for collectors who want a complete Kennedy series. The Denver Mint also played a major role, producing over 79 million coins marked with the letter D. These 1974 D half-dollars are often the subject of intense collector interest, not only for their strong strikes but also because of one of the most famous minting errors in modern U.S. history, the 1974 D-double die obverse. This error is what makes the 1974 half-dollar truly legendary among collectors. The double die obverse error occurs when the coin's die, which stamps the design onto blank planchets, is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing the design to appear doubled. On the 1974 D Kennedy half-dollar, this doubling is most visible on the words "trust" and "in God," and sometimes even on the letters of "Liberty." If you find one of these double die examples in your pocket change or collection, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. Then we have the San Francisco Mint, which produced the 1974 S-proof half-dollars. These coins were never meant for circulation, they were made specifically for collectors. Proof coins are struck with polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharp, detailed features. Over 2.6 million proof coins were made in San Francisco, and they are still popular among collectors today. However, even within the proof coins, there can be variations, such as cameo and deep cameo finishes, that can raise the value considerably. Now, while the 1974 half-dollar was intended to be a clad coin, there have been some fascinating discoveries of 1974 S half-dollar struck in silver. These coins were not supposed to exist, they are believed to be mint errors or experimental strikes that accidentally escaped the mint. One such 1974 S silver half-dollar surfaced years later and sold at auction for an incredible price because of its extreme rarity. Coins like this prove that even in the modern era, rare minting mistakes can result in coins worth a fortune. The design of the 1974 half-dollar is another reason why it remains a beloved piece in American numismatics. On the obverse, the front side features a detailed portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The portrait captures Kennedy's determined yet hopeful expression, symbolizing the nation's spirit during his leadership. Surrounding his image are the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year, 1974. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the presidential seal, an eagle with outstretched wings holding arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by a circle of stars. This imagery represents strength, peace, and the enduring power of the United States. What many people overlook is that the 1974 half-dollar never saw heavy circulation compared to earlier years. By the 1970s, fewer Americans used half-dollars in everyday transactions. The coin had gradually fallen out of favor, often ending up in banks, coin rolls, or storage drawers. Because of that, uncirculated examples have been preserved in excellent condition, especially those stored away in mint sets. These uncirculated pieces often display beautiful luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks, making them desirable to collectors today. Now, when it comes to grading, the condition of a coin is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, perfect coin. A 1974 half-dollar in circulated condition might only be worth its face value, 50 cents, but in higher grades like mint state 65 or higher, the value can rise significantly. Proof coins, especially those with deep cameo contrast, also command strong prices at auctions. And of course, error coins like the 1974 D double die can fetch even higher premiums depending on demand and condition, but what truly captivates collectors is not just the metal content or design, it's the story behind each coin. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar connects generations, those who lived through the Kennedy era and those who collect coins today. It's a bridge between history and art, between national memory and personal discovery. When you hold this coin, you're holding a small piece of America's journey, from the optimism of the 1960s to the industrial transition of the 1970s. Some collectors go their entire lives searching for the perfect 1974 D double die or a high-grade proof example with immaculate surfaces. Others stumble upon these treasures purely by chance, while sorting through old change jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the possibility that an unassuming coin in your possession could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Over the years, the market for Kennedy half-dollars has grown steadily. Collectors and investors recognize their enduring popularity and historical significance. With the 1974 issue, you have a coin that represents both accessibility and potential rarity. While common examples may only bring modest value, the rare variations and high-grade specimens are commanding increasingly higher prices in auctions and private sales. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1974 half-dollar? First, check the mint mark. Look just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse. If you see a D, inspect it carefully under magnification for signs of doubling, especially on the words, "In God We Trust." If you notice clear doubling, you might be looking at one of the most valuable modern errors. Also, examine the condition. Coins with full luster, sharp details, and minimal wear are always worth more. Proof coins should have mirror-like surfaces and strong contrast between the raised design and the background. Another interesting aspect is the difference between regular strikes and special mint set coins. In 1974, no official special mint sets were issued, but some coins from uncirculated sets display sharper details and smoother fields. These coins can appeal to serious collectors who appreciate quality strikes. Collectors also cherish the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar because it continues to circulate today, although rarely. Finding one in your change feels like discovering a piece of history in the palm of your hand. And when you realize that a single variation or error can elevate that coin's value to astonishing heights, it makes every half-dollar worth inspecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone new to coin collecting, the 1974 half-dollar is a coin that deserves attention. Its story is woven into the fabric of American history. We are diving deep into the story behind the 1979 half-dollar, its origin, features, mint marks, errors, and how one particular coin shocked the coin-collecting world with its staggering value. So sit back and join us as we explore one of America's most fascinating and valuable half-dollar coins ever struck. The 1979 half-dollar coin features the image of one of America's most beloved presidents, John F. Kennedy. After his tragic assassination in 1963, the United States Mint decided to honor him with a design that would immortalize his memory on the 50-cent piece. The Kennedy half-dollar first appeared in 1964, replacing the Benjamin Franklin design, and it quickly became a symbol of patriotism and remembrance. Although initially produced in 90% silver, the later issues, including the 1979 version, were made of copper-nickel clad, marking a new era of modern coinage. By 1979, the Kennedy half-dollar was still an important part of U.S. minting history, even though its circulation was declining. The coin was often seen more as a collector's piece than an everyday currency. People kept them as keepsakes, not change. But the story of the 1979 half-dollar is more than just about nostalgia. It's about rarity, hidden details, and unexpected worth that has stunned even professional numismatists. Let's take a closer look at its design. On the obverse, you'll find a striking portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His strong yet serene face faces left, representing leadership and honor. Above his head, the word "Liberty" stretches across the rim, with the motto, "In God We Trust," engraved just below his chin. The date 1979 sits proudly at the bottom, marking the year this coin entered circulation. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the imagery is equally powerful. The majestic presidential coat of arms dominates the center, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, representing war and peace. Surrounding it are 50 stars symbolizing the unity of the 50 states. The words, "United States of America," curve around the top, while "half-dollar" rests at the bottom, making this coin unmistakably American. Now, the mint marks. The 1979 Kennedy half-dollar was minted at 3 major U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Each mint mark tells a different story about where and how the coin was made. The coins struck in Philadelphia were meant for circulation. The Denver issues were also heavily circulated, while the San Francisco Mint mostly produced proof coins with a mirror-like shine intended for collectors. Among these, the 1979 half-dollar from the Denver Mint, bearing the D mint mark, is the one that has captured collectors' attention due to its rarity in certain conditions and its beautiful strikes. While millions were made, only a handful have survived in pristine, untouched quality. Those rare few can bring extraordinary prices at auctions, especially if they exhibit special characteristics such as full strikes, strong luster, or rare mint errors. Speaking of errors, the 1979 half dollar has its fair share of fascinating varieties. Minting errors can turn ordinary coins into treasures worth thousands of dollars. Some examples include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverse, filled mint marks, planchet errors, and die cracks. Even the smallest variation can make a massive difference in value. Imagine finding a 1979 half dollar with a misaligned die or a missing mint mark. To the untrained eye, it might just look odd. But to a collector or expert, it's a jackpot. These unique characteristics are what make coin collecting so thrilling. You never know when a simple pocket change coin could actually be worth a small fortune. Another point to remember is the coin's condition. In the world of numismatics, condition is everything. A 1979 half dollar that has been heavily used in circulation might only be worth its face value, but one that has been preserved in mint state, with no scratches, marks, or discoloration, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The higher the grade on the Sheldon coin grading scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, the higher the coin's market value. Now, let's talk about the proof coins minted in San Francisco. These were produced using polished dies and specially prepared planchets to create a brilliant mirror-like finish. Proof coins are struck multiple times to achieve sharp details and deep contrast between the frosted design and shiny background. The 1979 proof half dollars are especially admired by collectors because of their eye-catching beauty and craftsmanship. However, even within proof coins, some have special varieties that make them more valuable. For example, certain 1979 coins have what's called a Type 1 or Type 2 mint mark, where the shape of the S differs slightly. Type 2 proofs, with their clear and well-defined mint marks, are rarer and more sought after. So, what makes one particular 1979 half dollar so valuable today? It all comes down to a combination of perfection, rarity, and condition. The coin that achieved the staggering price tag wasn't just any half dollar, it was a coin that had survived decades without a single blemish, graded by experts as being in near-perfect mint state. It had exceptional strike quality, flawless luster, and a level of preservation almost never seen in circulation. Collectors go wild for coins that meet these standards because they represent the absolute pinnacle of minting precision and care. A coin like that becomes more than just currency, it becomes a work of art and a piece of history frozen in time. The 1979 half dollar also stands out as a reminder of the era it came from. The late 1970s were a period of change in America. From the economy to culture, everything was evolving. Yet, through coins like this, the mint preserved the nation's ideals of unity and resilience. That's what makes these coins not just metal discs but meaningful artifacts that carry the soul of their time. Collectors often look for coins that connect emotionally as well as financially. The Kennedy half dollar does exactly that. It reminds Americans of a young president who inspired hope and progress. For many, holding one of these coins is like holding a piece of that spirit. Another interesting fact is that despite their declining use in daily transactions, half dollars have always held a unique charm among collectors. Their larger size allows for intricate detail and impressive design work, making them perfect for commemorative purposes and collector editions. The 1979 series continued that tradition, offering a tangible connection to the past. The market for rare coins has grown immensely over the past few decades, with collectors worldwide competing for the best specimens. Auction houses have seen stunning results for coins once thought to be ordinary. The 1979 half dollar, particularly those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC in top mint state or proof condition, have set record prices that no one could have predicted years ago. Let's not forget that coins like the 1979 Kennedy half dollar aren't just investments, they're pieces of heritage. Each coin tells a story, from the metal it was struck on, to the hands that designed it, to the collectors who preserved it. That's the true magic of coin collecting: history, art, and value intertwined in a single creation. As of today, the 1979 half dollar continues to be a treasure worth hunting for. Whether it's a regular strike from Denver or Philadelphia, or a shimmering proof from San Francisco, each holds the potential for discovery and excitement. Every collector dreams of finding that one special coin, the one that stands out from all the rest, and indeed, among all the 1979 half dollars ever minted, one rare and perfectly preserved coin found its way into the spotlight. At a major auction, it captured the attention of bidders from around the world. Its flawless condition, incredible eye appeal, and historical significance pushed the price higher and higher until the gavel finally fell. That single 1979 half-dollar coin was sold for an astonishing $34,255. That's right, a small piece of history, worth more than many cars, all because of its perfection, rarity, and connection to one of America's most iconic presidents. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and often overlooked coins in United States coinage history, the 1980 D Mint Mark Kennedy half-dollar coin. At first glance, it may look like any ordinary half-dollar that once jingled in pockets or passed through vending machines, but behind its simple appearance lies an intriguing tale of design, history, and unexpected value. Stay tuned, because this video will take you on a journey through the origins, details, and the shocking hidden worth of this coin that might just be sitting in your coin jar right now. Let's travel back to 1980, a year of economic challenge, soaring inflation, and cultural transformation in America. The nation was changing fast, but amidst all that, the U.S. Mint continued its proud tradition of producing the Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that had already become an American icon. The half-dollar was originally introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy, following his tragic assassination in 1963. Americans immediately embraced it as a tribute to one of the most beloved leaders of the modern era. Even by 1980, nearly 2 decades later, the coin still held sentimental value and respect among collectors and citizens alike. Now, the 1980 D Kennedy half-dollar, the D standing proudly for the Denver Mint, was struck in large quantities that year. Millions of these coins were produced, but as any collector will tell you, not all coins are created equal. Even among millions, there are a few that stand out, coins with errors, exceptional condition, or unique characteristics that make them worth far more than 50 cents. The Denver Mint, located in Colorado, is known for its precision, yet even there, rare varieties and minting oddities sometimes occur, turning an ordinary coin into a treasure worth thousands. The 1980 half-dollar was made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, a blend designed for durability and everyday use. Each coin weighed about 11.34 grams, with a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. Unlike earlier half-dollars that contained silver, these were fully copper-nickel, marking a new era of practicality in American coinage. Despite lacking silver content, these coins still hold tremendous collectible value today due to their connection with President Kennedy and the remarkable history behind their production. Let's talk about the design, a masterpiece that continues to capture the American spirit. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar, dignified portrait of President John F. Kennedy, facing left, designed by the legendary Gilroy Roberts. His initials, Gr, can be found near the neckline of the bust. The word Liberty arcs around the top, symbolizing the core American value Kennedy so eloquently stood for. Beneath his chin, you'll see the year, 1980, and just above the date lies the small yet significant D Mint mark that signifies it was minted in Denver. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted by the reverse design, an elegant rendering by Frank Gasparo. The design features the presidential seal, an eagle with outstretched wings, holding an olive branch in its right talon and arrows in its left. Surrounding it are 50 stars representing the states of the Union. The inscriptions, United States of America, and half-dollar, frame the powerful image. Every detail of the eagle's feathers, the texture of the shield, and even the tiny stars reflect the skill and artistry of the engraver. It's more than a coin, it's a piece of national pride, minted in metal. While most 1980 D half-dollars were used in circulation, a few were preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition by collectors. These are known as mint state, or MS coins. In numismatic grading, the higher the grade, the more perfect the coin, with MS 70 representing a flawless specimen. The majority of 1980 D half-dollars fall between MS 60 and MS 64, meaning they have minor marks from handling. However, a rare few examples graded MS 67 or higher are incredibly valuable because they show the coin exactly as it left the mint, without even a single scratch or imperfection visible to the naked eye. But what makes this coin so interesting is not just its history, but the potential for hidden treasure. Some of these coins have been discovered with unique errors that occurred during the minting process. These errors are like the fingerprints of history, no two are exactly alike. For example, there are known 1980D half dollars with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted. Others display double die obverse, where the letters or numbers appear doubled because of misalignment during production. These mint errors are extremely sought after by collectors because they capture a rare and unrepeatable moment in minting history. Another factor that adds to the coin's value is its luster and strike quality. The 1980D mint mark half-dollar coins that were struck sharply, showing deep details in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers, are far more desirable than coins with weaker strikes. Over the years, the coins that have maintained their original mint shine, that brilliant reflective surface, have become prized possessions among coin collectors and investors alike. You might wonder why a coin made of copper and nickel, with no silver content, could ever be worth thousands of dollars. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and demand. Even though millions were minted, the vast majority were used in daily transactions, dropped in cash registers, or stored in banks. Only a tiny fraction were carefully preserved, and even fewer have survived in immaculate condition. When a coin grader or auction house finds one of these in gem condition, especially with the Denver Mint mark, collectors from around the world compete fiercely to own it. The Kennedy half-dollar series, as a whole, has always attracted attention from coin enthusiasts because it connects so deeply with American history. Each year, collectors look for subtle design variations, minting errors, and perfect examples that can significantly raise a coin's value. For the 1980D, the combination of nostalgic significance, limited high-grade survivors, and occasional minting anomalies has pushed its worth into impressive territory. Over the years, some remarkable sales have taken place at major coin auctions. Coins that once passed through hands for mere pocket change have stunned experts by fetching thousands under the gavel. Collectors who specialize in modern-era coins are often astonished at how quickly prices can climb when rarity and quality meet in perfect harmony. The 1980D half-dollar is one such example, a coin that embodies the unexpected magic of numismatics. That if you happen to have a 1980D Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, take a closer look. Hold it under good light and inspect the details. Is the luster still intact? Do the features appear sharply defined? Is there a minting error, doubling, or misalignment? These subtle differences can mean the difference between a coin worth 50 cents and one worth thousands. Even small differences in condition can cause major jumps in value. For example, a coin graded MS-65 might sell for hundreds, while one in MS-67 or MS-68 could reach prices that leave collectors speechless. That it's also fascinating to note how coins like the 1980D half-dollar connect generations. For older collectors, it brings back memories of the Kennedy era and the pride of owning a symbol of leadership and hope. For younger collectors, it serves as an introduction to the beauty of American coinage and the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of finding that one rare coin that changes everything, and this particular coin continues to be a favorite hunting ground for those chasing that dream. Beyond its monetary value, the 1980D Kennedy half-dollar carries immense historical and emotional weight. It's not just about the price tag, it's about what the coin represents. It symbolizes resilience, the spirit of a nation, and a president who continues to inspire generations. The coin's simple yet elegant design is a timeless reminder of American artistry and patriotism. It also highlights how something as small as a half-dollar can hold stories that stretch across decades. As you explore your own coins or inherit an old collection from a family member, don't overlook the Kennedy half-dollars. They may appear common, but among them could lie a hidden gem, a coin that has been quietly increasing in value for years. The 1980D Mint Mark coin, with its distinct Denver heritage and rich historical significance, is one of those potential treasures. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and often overlooked coins in American history, the 1981D Kennedy half-dollar. A coin that, on the surface, might seem ordinary, but once you truly understand its history, design, and rare features, you'll realize why collectors all over the world are hunting for these special pieces. Some of these coins, in the right condition, have reached eye-popping values that might just surprise you. Let's explore how a coin minted more than 4 decades ago, worth just 50 cents at face value, could be hiding a small fortune right in your pocket change or coin jar. So stay tuned until the very end, because we'll reveal the jaw-dropping amount that one rare 1981 D half dollar sold for, and what makes it so valuable today. Let's begin this exciting journey. The story of the 1981 D half dollar starts in an era of change, the early 1980s. America was shifting economically and culturally, but the Kennedy half dollar remained one of the country's most iconic and sentimental coins. Originally introduced in 1964, just months after President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination, the coin quickly became a symbol of hope, remembrance, and national pride. By 1981, the Kennedy half dollar had already gone through several transformations. From silver to clad compositions, from high mintages to dwindling circulation, the coin had seen it all. But the 1981 D stood out for a few very special reasons. The D mint mark on the coin stands for the Denver Mint, one of the 3 major mints operating in the United States at the time. The Denver Mint, known for its precision and large-scale coin production, struck millions of these half dollars. Yet, despite the high mintage, not all 1981 D half dollars are created equal. You see, while most were struck for circulation, a significant number were kept in collector sets, known as mint sets. But here's the interesting part. 1981 was the final year the United States Mint produced the Kennedy half dollar specifically for circulation before pausing production for general use for several years. That small fact makes the 1981 D issue even more special in the eyes of numismatists. Let's talk about its physical design for a moment, because the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar is truly a masterpiece in miniature form. The obverse, or the front side of the coin, features the famous left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The detail in Kennedy's hair, the elegant curve of his profile, and the proud expression on his face reflect the craftsmanship and respect that went into the design. The word "Liberty" arcs around the top, framing the portrait perfectly, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed boldly below Kennedy's chin. At the bottom, the year, 1981, is stamped, marking the coin's place in history. On the reverse, you'll find the stunning presidential seal design by Frank Gasparo. It shows a proud bald eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and military readiness. Surrounding the eagle are 50 tiny stars, representing each state in the Union. Above the eagle's head floats a ribbon reading E pluribus unum, which translates to "out of many, one." This coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a piece of America's heart and story. Now, as for its composition, by 1981, the U.S. Mint had long switched from the original 90% silver mixture to a copper-nickel clad composition. That means the 1981 D half dollar is made of an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The result is a coin that shines beautifully but doesn't contain precious metal. Yet, collectors aren't always after silver or gold. Sometimes, it's history, rarity, and condition that drive the price up, and that's exactly the case with this coin. Let's talk about the minting process for a moment, because small differences here can create coins worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 1981 D Kennedy half dollar has been known to show several fascinating varieties and errors. For example, some coins display die cracks, thin raised lines that appear when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear out. Others show doubling on the letters of "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." This kind of doubling, known as a double die error, makes these coins exceptionally valuable because they're so rare and visually distinct. There are also off-center strikes, where the design doesn't align perfectly with the coin's shape. In extreme cases, part of the design can be missing altogether, creating a coin that's immediately noticeable and highly collectible. Even small details like planchet errors, where the coin blank wasn't formed properly before being struck, can make a world of difference in value. But one of the biggest factors that determine the worth of any coin is condition. The 1981 D Kennedy half dollar is no exception. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 using the Sheldon grading system, with higher numbers meaning better condition. A coin in circulated condition, the kind you'd find in pocket change, might only be worth face value. But an uncirculated example, one that has never been used, can command impressive prices. Then you have proof-like and high mint state grades, such as MS66, MS67, or higher. These are the coins that shine like mirrors, with sharp details and no scratches or wear. Collectors compete fiercely to own these top-graded examples. It's also worth noting that in 1981, half dollars were not widely used in everyday transactions anymore. People tended to keep them as keepsakes rather than spend them. That's why many of these coins, when discovered today, are still in surprisingly good condition. So, how do you know if your 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar is valuable? Start by looking for these signs: mint mark D below Kennedy's neck. This confirms it was minted in Denver, strong strike and clean surface. The sharper the details, the more valuable it might be. No scratches, bag marks, or discoloration. A clean, original luster adds value. Look for doubling or die errors. These are extremely rare and can raise the price dramatically. Now let's talk about the real-world market for these coins. Over the years, collectors have paid significant amounts for 1981 D half dollars in pristine condition. Most circulated coins might sell for around their face value or slightly above, but when you move into high mint state or proof-like territory, the prices start climbing steeply. Auction records have shown stunning results for well-preserved 1981 D half dollars. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC have certified only a small number of top-quality examples, which drives up demand. Some collectors even build full sets of Kennedy half dollars, and finding a flawless 1981 D is essential to completing that collection. It's also interesting to note that the Kennedy half dollar series remains one of the most beloved in American coinage. Whether you collect for sentimental reasons or investment purposes, this coin holds a special place. Its connection to President Kennedy gives it a timeless emotional appeal, while its evolving design and minting quirks keep collectors endlessly fascinated. Another fun fact is that many people don't realize half dollars are still being produced, but mostly for collectors, not general circulation. That makes earlier issues like the 1981 D even more historically important. They represent the last era when the half dollar was still struck in large numbers for potential public use. Collectors love coins that tell stories, and the 1981 D tells a big one. It speaks of a nation remembering its past, of craftsmanship, and of the slow transition from a coin of circulation to a collector's treasure. And now, let's reach the part you've been waiting for, the value that has stunned collectors and investors alike. Imagine discovering a 1981 D half dollar that looks absolutely perfect. The kind of coin that's been stored safely, never touched by human hands, still glowing with its original mint luster. When such a coin appears at auction, bidding wars often erupt among serious collectors who recognize just how scarce these high-grade pieces really are. Recently, one of these exceptional 1981 D Kennedy half dollars, graded at the top level by professional graders, fetched an incredible amount. After all the excitement, the final hammer price left everyone amazed. That stunning coin sold for $24,255. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 50-cent coin from 1981, struck in Denver, reached a value of over $24,000 when preserved in pristine condition. We're diving deep into the value, history, design, and rarity of this beautiful coin, and we'll explore how one of these coins can be worth a staggering $18,255. So, get ready to discover the full story behind one of the most underappreciated coins in American coinage, the 1997 D Kennedy half dollar. Let's begin by traveling back to the late 1990s. The year was 1997, the economy was strong, technology was rapidly changing, and American coins were going through an era of refinement rather than revolution. The United States Mint, based in Denver for the D Mint mark, was producing millions of half dollars, yet fewer and fewer people were using them in everyday transactions. Despite their low circulation, these coins continued to be minted, a tradition kept alive in honor of the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, whose face has graced the half dollar since 1964. The Kennedy half dollar design itself carries powerful symbolism. Created shortly after President Kennedy's tragic assassination in 1963, the coin became a living memorial to him. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who captured not only the likeness but the charisma of the young president. The reverse, designed by Frank Casparo, displays the presidential seal, an eagle with wings spread, clutching an olive branch and arrows, surrounded by a circle of stars. It represents power, peace, and the enduring spirit of the United States. Now, when it comes to the 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar, what makes it so special is not just its design or symbolism, but the details of its minting. The Denver Mint produced over 19 million of these coins, a substantial number compared to some earlier issues. However, the catch lies in the quality, condition, and specific minting variations that occurred during production. Most 1997 D half-dollars you'll find in circulation are made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a mixture that gives the coin its silvery shine but also makes it prone to scratches and wear over time. These circulated coins typically hold face value, maybe a little more to collectors looking to fill a date set. But the true treasures are found among the uncirculated and proof-like specimens that showcase remarkable mint luster, sharp strike details, and flawless surfaces. Collectors are especially drawn to coins that remain in pristine condition, what we call mint state. When a 1997 D half-dollar is preserved in high grade, it can become highly desirable, especially to registry collectors who compete to assemble the finest examples of every date and mint mark. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC are considered exceptional. These grades mean the coin looks nearly perfect to the naked eye, with full mint brilliance and only the tiniest of marks visible under magnification. But even among high-grade coins, there are special types of errors and varieties that make certain 1997 D half-dollars far more valuable than the rest. Some of the most sought-after errors include double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet imperfections. Imagine a coin where Kennedy's profile is slightly doubled, or the rim is misaligned just enough to be noticeable. These flaws, caused by small mechanical or alignment issues during the minting process, are incredibly appealing to collectors. They turn a common coin into a unique artifact, one that tells a story of the mint's machinery, craftsmanship, and the rare chance of imperfection. Another key factor that adds value is the coin strike quality. While most Denver coins are known for their strong strikes, some 1997 D half-dollars exhibit what numismatists call a proof-like surface, a mirror finish similar to the special proof coins minted for collectors. When a coin like that surfaces from regular business strike production, it becomes a standout example, a little miracle of minting that commands top dollar. Let's talk about the composition for a moment. Since 1971, regular half-dollars have been struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, weighing 11.34 grams with a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. The outer layers consist of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to an inner core of pure copper. While this may not sound glamorous compared to the 90% silver Kennedy halves of the 1960s, the clad versions represent the economic realities of their time. Rising silver prices made precious metal coins impractical for everyday commerce, leading to a shift that still defines U.S. coinage today. Still, collectors often chase both clad and silver varieties. In 1997, the United States Mint also produced special silver-proof Kennedy half-dollars at the San Francisco Mint, intended for collectors and sold in sets. But the Denver Mint mark coins were the true workhorses, the kind that ended up in circulation, vending machines, and cash registers across the country. That makes finding one today in flawless condition even more challenging. So how do you know if your 1997 D Kennedy half-dollar is worth money? The first step is to check its condition under good lighting. Look for strong details in Kennedy's hair, sharp edges on the lettering, and a clean, smooth field, the flat area of the coin. The fewer scratches and marks you see, the higher the potential grade. Then, check for errors or die varieties using a magnifying glass. Any doubling on the lettering, numbers, or profile could mean you've discovered a rare variety. Collectors also value coins that come from original mint sets, coins that have never been touched by human hands and have remained sealed in their mint packaging since 1997. These coins retain their original luster and appeal, and many of the high-value 1997 D half-dollars found today come from such sets. Now, you might be wondering, why do collectors still care so much about a half-dollar that's no longer used much in daily commerce? The answer lies in the Kennedy legacy. The Kennedy half-dollar represents more than just currency, it's a symbol of American history, leadership, and resilience. It's a coin that connects generations, from those who remember Kennedy's presidency to young collectors just starting their journey. And with each passing year, high-quality examples of older dates like 1997D become scarcer, as coins are lost, damaged, or simply forgotten in drawers and coin jars. The coin's cultural importance adds emotional and historical value, something that can never be measured by price alone. The Kennedy series remains one of the most collected U.S. coins of all time, second only to the Lincoln cent. It's a coin that carries nostalgia, patriotism, and a timeless sense of pride. Now let's explore some auction stories and collector highlights. Over the years, the 1997D Kennedy half-dollar has made surprising appearances in auctions and private sales. Coins graded MS-68 by PCGS or NGC have fetched premium prices, and examples with special toning, the natural color changes that occur over decades, have drawn even more attention. Beautiful rainbow toning, for instance, can transform a standard coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Collectors will often pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars, for such unique eye appeal. It's not just about rarity, it's about perfection, beauty, and the story that each coin tells. Some collectors even go as far as specializing in Kennedy halves alone, assembling full runs from 1964 to the present day, searching for that one exceptional piece that completes the set. And when it comes to 1997D, finding a top-graded example in pristine condition is like finding treasure. What's even more interesting is how coin collecting continues to grow in popularity, especially among younger generations who discover that even modern coins can hold immense value. Social media platforms, coin shows, and online auction sites have brought attention back to coins like the 1997D half-dollar, making them a hot topic among numismatics communities. The truth is, there are still treasures waiting to be discovered in everyday life. You might come across a 1997D Kennedy half-dollar in your coin jar, pocket change, or even in a bank roll. So before you spend it, take a closer look. You could be holding a piece of history worth far more than 50 cents. Let's also remember that coins like this represent more than monetary value. They embody America's journey, from the idealism of the 1960s to the progress and innovation of the late 20th century. Each coin tells a small part of that larger story, and the 1997D half-dollar serves as a perfect reminder of how enduring that legacy is. So, whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned expert, the 1997D Kennedy half-dollar is a coin worth studying, cherishing, and appreciating. Its combination of artistry, symbolism, and subtle rarity makes it one of the more intriguing coins of the modern era. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the history, design, composition, and surprising value of this remarkable coin. You'll discover how a piece of change that once circulated in everyday pockets could now be worth far more than anyone ever imagined. So, sit back, relax, and let's uncover the story behind the 1998D half-dollar coin, a hidden gem that's quietly rising in value among coin enthusiasts. The 1998D Kennedy half-dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in U.S. history. This coin is part of the famous Kennedy half-dollar series, which began in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The half-dollar was introduced as a tribute to his memory, and ever since, it has become one of the most collected modern U.S. coins. By 1998, the Kennedy half-dollar had already gone through several decades of production, but the 1998D issue still stood out, not only for its historical relevance but also for its beauty and enduring popularity. The coin's design is iconic. On the obverse side, it features the left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, the ninth chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Kennedy's image is striking, confident, youthful, and full of life, embodying the spirit of an era known as Camelot. The word "Liberty" arches above his head, and beneath his chin is the national motto, "In God We Trust." The date 1998 is engraved below, marking the year of its creation. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the majestic reverse designed by Frank Gasparo. The reverse shows the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. Above the eagle's head is a ring of 50 stars representing the states of the Union, while the words "United States of America" and "half-dollar" complete the patriotic design. The mint mark D appears on the obverse side, located just below Kennedy's neck, identifying it as a Denver Mint coin. Now let's talk about the composition. The 1998 D Kennedy half dollar is a copper-nickel-clad coin. This means that its outer layers are composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, while the inner core is made primarily of pure copper. The coin weighs about 11.34 grams and has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. Although it's not made of silver, the 1998 D still carries significant collector interest due to its design, mintage figures, and the overall appeal of the Kennedy series. The U.S. Mint produced approximately 15,480,000 of these half dollars in 1998 at the Denver facility. While that number may sound large, most of these coins were used in circulation, which means that finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is not as easy as it might seem. Circulated examples are fairly common and often show wear from years of handling. However, coins that have been preserved in mint state, especially those graded MS65 or higher, can be quite desirable. One of the reasons collectors love the 1998 D half dollar is because of its role during a transitional period in U.S. coinage. By the late 1990s, half dollars were rarely seen in everyday transactions. They were still being minted, but mainly for collectors and for limited circulation. The Kennedy half dollar had become more of a collector's coin rather than a coin of commerce. This makes later issues like the 1998 D even more interesting, as fewer people saved them at the time, leading to an increase in scarcity today for high-grade pieces. When we talk about coin values, the condition, or grade, of a coin is everything. A 1998 D half dollar found in your change might only be worth its face value of 50 cents if it's heavily worn. However, if you find one that has been carefully preserved, showing bright luster, no scratches, and sharp details, then you're looking at something far more valuable. Coins graded mint state 65, MS65, and above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can command impressive prices among collectors. The most valuable 1998 D half dollars are typically those struck with exceptional quality, coins that stand out for their brilliance, clean surfaces, and well-defined details. Some coins even exhibit special characteristics known as proof-like or deep cameo surfaces, giving them mirror-like finishes that make them even more collectible. But there's another fascinating aspect to the 1998 D half dollar that intrigues collectors: errors and varieties. Sometimes during the minting process, mistakes occur, and these mint errors can make a coin worth a fortune. Examples include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. Collectors are always on the lookout for such unique anomalies. A 1998 D Kennedy half dollar with a clear double die obverse, for instance, could be worth many times its normal value. Over the years, certain 1998 D half dollars in pristine condition have been sold at auctions for astonishing prices. Coin enthusiasts pay close attention to auction records because they help establish the true market value of rare coins. It's not unusual for top-grade examples to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars when demand peaks among collectors. The Kennedy half dollar itself is a symbol of American pride and history. It connects generations of collectors, from those who remember the tragic events of 1963 to younger hobbyists discovering coin collecting today. The series reflects both the nation's history and its evolving minting technology. Every year of the Kennedy series offers something unique, and the 1998 D stands out as a beautifully crafted piece from a time when the half dollar was slowly fading from circulation but still shining as a collector's item. Collectors often ask, is my 1998 D half dollar worth anything? The answer depends on what you have. If it's a circulated coin from pocket change, its value may be modest. But if you find a brilliant uncirculated coin with no wear and full luster, you could be holding a small treasure. Coins preserved in original mint sets or rolls are the best candidates for such finds. It's always a good idea to handle coins carefully, by their edges, and store them in protective holders to preserve their condition. Interestingly, the Kennedy half dollar has also become a coin of nostalgia. For many Americans, it recalls a time of hope, youth, and progress, the ideals that President Kennedy represented. Having a 1998 D half dollar is not just about owning a piece of metal, it's about owning a piece of history that honors a leader whose legacy continues to inspire generations. And the collector market, demand for Kennedy half dollars remains strong. Even though the U.S. Mint still issues them each year, most modern half dollars never see circulation. This scarcity in day-to-day use actually increases collector demand for earlier issues. The 1998 D is a perfect example, affordable for beginners, yet valuable enough to attract seasoned collectors who appreciate coins in top condition. Another fascinating thing about the 1998 D half dollar is that it often comes paired with the 1998 S proof version from the San Francisco Mint. The proof coins, made especially for collectors, have a mirror-like surface and frosted design details. While the 1998 D is not a proof, its business strike finish still looks quite impressive when well preserved. Some collectors even enjoy building complete Kennedy half-dollar sets, including both proof and circulation strikes from every year and mint. For those looking to sell or buy a 1998 D half-dollar, it's essential to get it appraised or graded professionally. Coin grading not only authenticates the coin but also helps determine its true market value. Services like PCGS and NGC use a 70-point scale, with 70 being a flawless, perfect coin. High-grade coins in the MS67 or MS68 range can fetch premium prices, especially if they display full mint luster and eye appeal. Collectors and dealers often trade Kennedy half dollars at coin shows, online auctions, and numismatic websites. The market for these coins remains vibrant, as more people become aware of the potential hidden value of modern U.S. coinage. Some people even discover valuable coins in their loose change or inherited collections. So if you come across a 1998 D half dollar, don't dismiss it too quickly, it might be worth taking a closer look. There's also a deeper beauty to coin collecting itself. Every coin tells a story. The 1998 D Kennedy half dollar tells the story of a nation that remembers, honors, and celebrates its heroes. It's a coin that continues to unite people through the love of history, design, and discovery. Whether you're a serious numismatist or just someone curious about the coins you carry, exploring pieces like the 1998 D half dollar opens a window into the fascinating world of U.S. minting artistry.